guys? It's me, Division Leader Dynamic 2839, and I'm here today introducing Akira. What's up, Akira?
What's up?
Boom. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a few games. We want to give some ratings on a few games as well, too. So the first game on the list will be Dauntless.
The behemoth threat looms from beyond the horizon. To stand against it, each of us, master and recruit alike, will choose our own path. Whatever it is you seek, every hunt offers the chance to earn glory, trophies, or at least a battle scar. Ramsgate, an outpost at the edge of the world, has become our home. And as long as we draw breath, it will not fall. We have learned to turn the behemoth's unique, lethal power back against them. And we do it in style. The behemoths are changing, evolving. And so we forge new bonds, together, one hunt at a time. Live on the edge of every moment, Slayer. Live for the hunt.
Okay, so Dauntless is a game that came out on the PS4. It's a free-to-play game, pay-to-win. It's an awesome game. You can choose between different warrior classes, and basically you will run through different stages. It's sort of like an MMO, kind of like a massive multiplayer online game. But the fact that you're actually choosing levels, you're fighting ice enemies, fire enemies, forest enemies, and you have to basically buy weapons that challenge that actual character or enemy. And when you do this, it ranks you up. And it's a multiplayer, so you're actually playing with other people as well too. So the game is really fun, and you're consistently battling, fighting, and it's a challenging game. Nothing about the game seems weak. You're going to be fighting one monster sometime for like 20, 30 minutes. Like, it's that serious. Like, I mean, again, and the monster runs. So when you do go to a level, you will battle a monster. Now, let's say the monster is being weakened. What the monster will do, it'll run to another area. When it runs to the next area, then you and your friends have to search and find this monster on this stage. And it's pretty interesting, because you don't really know, like, where he is, you know, or where you're going to find the next battle at. So, along the way of searching for the monster, you're finding items, you have to collect like different minerals, materials, like flowers. A lot of the minerals are inside the flowers, inside the game itself. And it's really interesting. Then you go back to hometown, or home base, and it goes from there. So,
Hunting a behemoth is to challenge savagery itself. In the Shattered Isles, nothing is given. If you're going to slay a behemoth, you'll need to become something savage too. If one is to survive, power must be taken. And the smiths of Ramsgate will forge raw power into legend. Take up your blade, Slayer, and fight ice with fire.
the game is really interesting. I like it a lot. I would say Dauntless is probably one of the most interesting games they brought out this year for free to play. MMO slash fighter game on PSN. I like it a lot. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I like it.
Hey, Dynamic, who developed this game?
Oh, the developer for this game, that would be Phoenix Labs.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, they did a really good job with this game. The graphics were outstanding. I loved it. One of the best games ever. Definitely. If I had to give Dauntless a rating, I would probably give it a 9.
A 9.
I didn't give it a 9.
That's pretty up there, man.
That was way too high. I want to give Dauntless an 8. 8. An 8 for Dauntless. Really cool game. Loved it. Still play it. It's a great game. It's an 8. And if you ever get a chance to get your hands on that game, definitely try it out. It's free to play. It's fun. And it's multiplayer. Can't beat that. So, yeah, Dauntless. Dauntless is awesome.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so next is going to be...
League of Legends. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Akira. I'm going to be talking about League of Legends. I think League of Legends is an awesome game. You could play it on the computer. Basically, you can download it on the Mac, and you can also download it on the Windows computer if you have Windows. I prefer using it on a Windows computer because I think a lot of those are much faster than Mac processors. Additionally, I think it's a great game because you can play with your friends. You can play with up to 4 other friends, including yourself, so it's 5. Each with different roles. There's the top lane, there's the jungler, there's the middle lane, support, and bot lane, which is usually the AD carry. I think there's like 3 turrets in like each lane, and then there's also the inhibitor, which you had to get right after the 3 turrets, and then you have to get the opponent's nexus right after. And after you get the nexus, you basically win the whole game. Also see what works best for you this time. Maybe this time you try to develop your character buying these items or playing this style, but then the next time you figure out, hey, this is actually better, buying this item, it works out better, my character is a lot stronger, so I'm going to go this way. Right,
it makes sense. So when you mean like you have to go through the actual, when you're actually playing the game,
right.
It's like it's a 5v5.
Right, 5v5.
So there's like 5 individuals on your team, and then there's 5 individuals on a separate team.
Right.
And you guys are colliding.
Yep.
And you're trying to take out towers.
Yeah, basically the other team's objective.
Okay.
I mean, your objective is to get their towers.
Okay, so when you knock their towers down, then you go for the inhibitor.
The inhibitor.
Once you knock the inhibitor down, then you go for the
nexus.
The nexus.
It's like the center.
The center.
And it becomes a lot easier once you get the inhibitor, because once you get the inhibitor, your team also gets like these super minions, which also help you, and they're so much stronger than the regular minions.
Wow.
And they basically help you get your objectives.
So they get the objectives knocked out faster.
Yep, a lot faster.
Wow. And then you said there were different roles. So you have the jungler.
Right.
You have the bot.
Yep.
You have a solo.
Mm-hmm. Solo top.
Solo top. Okay, and what was the other 2?
So there's a support and mid.
So the support is the guy that heals, basically?
Yeah, so he has a lot of things. There's this thing called crowd control.
Okay.
It could be like a slowing move.
Okay.
It could be a healing move. It could be a stun move. Basically, it controls the crowd. That's why it's called crowd control, like CC.
Oh,
so when people say like CC, it means crowd control in the chat.
Oh, CC, crowd control. I like that. That's cool. So mid is like usually like a magic user.
Usually is a magic user,
Okay.
because like usually the other users are like ADC,
Okay.
and so if the other team builds only armor and you only have 8 like physical damage, you're kind of like screwed up because you don't have any magic in your team.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. I mean, it definitely cool game. It's an RTS, real-time strategy game. A MOBA. I call them MOBAs. You know, they're really cool. Basically, you just basically 5 against 5. You know, you take down the enemy's towers, you get the inhibitor out the way, then you go for the Nexus and you win the game. So the game is very competitive. It's one of the most competitive games in the world, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty popular.
Yeah, League of Legends is a pretty big MOBA. It's pretty well known. I mean, I believe some of the best players are from Europe, or they're in Europe, I believe.
I don't know, like I think they're from my country personally because like Korea is like a big, they call it they call them like computer rooms,
Okay.
and they're like basically everyone just stays there and just their service is like so fast.
Oh, like sort of like internet cafes.
Yeah,
I
internet
gotcha.
cafes.
Yeah, I know some people that actually play there. Man, those places are pretty lit.
Yeah,
They
they're
get pretty
like
interesting.
everywhere. They're like everywhere in Korea. Like I
Wow.
think the best computer online gamers are from Korea.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so Akira, if you were to give a rating for League of Legends, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 9.
A 9?
Yeah.
Hey, 9 is pretty good. Hey, I'm with it.
Yeah.
And that's a boss rating. Phenomenal. Okay. All right, guys. We're going with the next game right now, and the next game will be Dungeons and Dragons Idle Champions. Okay, so basically I had a chance to play a game called Dungeons and Dragons Idle Champions. This is also a free-to-play game, but it's also pay-to-win. This is on the PS4. It just released not too long ago. It's not even like 3 months old. It's a pretty recent. This game is very simple, but very addictive. I love this game. Basically, you start out with one character, and the character automatically just walks across the screen. Okay? And then enemies appear on the screen, you know, on the other side, and your character attacks that enemy. Now, once that enemy is destroyed, you earn gold. And then the second enemy appears, then the third enemy, and the fourth, and so on and so forth, and your character just attacks until you build up enough gold to where you can buy a second character. Now your team is of 2. Now you keep doing this so you can buy a third character, and the fourth, and the fifth, and so on and so forth, and you can get it squad up until up to about maybe 6 or 7 characters. And basically what you do is you use these 6 or 7 characters to go through each stage. You just defeat enemies, and eventually you get to a boss, and then you fight the boss. But you can't die in this game. If you die in this game, basically your characters are pushed back to the previous level, and you just basically sit there to level up. You just fight enemies consistently until your characters are strong enough to fight the boss, and then you can progress to the next level. Now, what I mean by pay to win Some enemies are just ridiculous. They're like HP is like 1 trillion. So your attack has to be ridiculously high. So your attack damage needs to be like maybe 1 billion or maybe like something like 100 billion just to even dent the 1 trillion HP. So the numbers are ridiculous in this game. The game is mostly about numbers. It gets to the point where you can't even like scratch a normal enemy. Like you're like trying to like attack a normal enemy with your squad of heroes, and a normal enemy will literally wipe out your entire team, and you're pushed back to the previous level. This is where you would buy certain spells, certain potions, certain special effects for your team to make them stronger than normal. You can actually help your team. You actually have a personal attack yourself. If you hold the circle button, you can attack enemies alongside the actual heroes. So that's where you come in at. You're not only monitoring the heroes to make sure they level up correctly and make sure they're stronger, you're actually able to actually do your own personal attack on the enemies themselves. So it's a very interesting game. Dungeons and Dragons have always done good. Every game I've played from Dungeons and Dragons, even from the board games itself, they were always good. These guys are masters when it comes to just folklore and medieval type of battle history. So when it comes to gaming, I mean, yeah, they're like one of the best. They're up there with Skyrim. Oh, I would definitely give Dungeons and Dragons the level of Skyrim.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, man.
I gotta give it that. Yeah, so I love that game. Been playing it a lot lately. If I had to give Dungeons and Dragons Idle Champions a rating, I would give it a 9.
Hey, that's right up there with League.
Yeah, these are good games. And the thing is, these games are all 2D. They're not even like, we're not even talking about like major 3D games, like big 3D games, like movie type games. These are like games like from back on like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. These are like 16-bit games that are out right now, crushing it. Like people don't even know. I mean, it's just like, wow, like, yeah, that's insane. Gotta love Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons, Idle Champions, definitely. 9, boss rating.
Hey, what's up, guys? Now I'm going to be talking about Pokemon Go. I really like Pokemon Go because, first of all, it's like a childhood game for me. Personally, I think it's great because you could play it anywhere you go. You can play it while you're walking, and you can also play it while you're running, and also when you're driving, I think up to like 10 miles per hour. So like, I prefer you not to go driving and play Pokemon Go though, because there's been many stories.
Plays Pokemon, right?
Exactly. Like, first of all, hey, you can't be looking at your phone while you're driving. So, I think Pokemon Go also had made some recent advancements. You could also like trade with your fellow Pokemon players. You can also battle them. And I think the max level you can get to is like 40. And once you reach 40, it's like, hey, you're just at the pinnacle of like Pokemon Go. I think the goal of Pokemon Go is to catch all the Pokemons, and some of them you can't catch unless you're in a different country. So it's kind of like realistic, like Pokemon. Like I
What do you mean? You mean like you can only catch certain Pokemon if you're actually in a different country?
Yeah, like I remember I was in Korea, and I saw a Farfetch'd, and I couldn't find that in America.
Really?
Yeah. So it's actually kind of like a realistic Pokemon version.
Wow, that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
I know it's banned in some countries because the game was basically deemed dangerous because a lot of people were like walking into like oncoming traffic, walking off of cliffs, you know, and I'm just like, wow, you know, like to think that this game was so interesting that people did not even pay attention to what was going on in real life.
Right.
You know, as like they were losing lives.
Exactly.
like to this game.
In the beginning, they would make a warning, be like, "Hey, just look out for your surroundings." That's how bad it was in the beginning.
An initial warning before the game starts: be careful, you might die playing this game.
Exactly. Like, oh, man, I'm still gonna play it anyway.
Well, I'll still play it. Yeah. Then, oh, there's a car coming up. Oh well.
Yeah.
Iran has become the first country to officially ban Pokemon Go. Iran's High Council of Virtual Spaces is in charge of filtering online content, and it has decided to ban the game for security purposes. Considering the number of disturbances that have happened as a result of Pokemon Go, you can sort of understand where the High Council is coming from. And despite the ban, plenty of Iranian citizens are already playing and discussing the game.
I mean, I played myself, and I'm not gonna lie, I did it driving too, but it's just easier. It was around my neighborhood, so, you know, I know the area.
Gotcha. You don't have to worry about like
I didn't have to worry about
driving off a cliff or anything.
Nah. But if I had to give it a rating, I would definitely give it an 8 now. Maybe if it was like a few years back when it came out, I'd say like a 6. But like right now, I'd say it's a solid 8 because they have so many more functions now. Like I said, battling, you could battle your friend, you could trade with your friends. So it just made it a lot more enjoyable.
Awesome. Cool. So that's an 8 for Pokemon Go. Definitely interesting game. Pokemon has always been fun. People always loved it. It's a great game. Yeah, so, alright guys. So, we're going to call it here for BoSS Season 2, Episode 3. Definitely check out our website, www.bossgaming.net, our YouTube channel, Boss Gaming Network, our Twitch, Dynamic2839, and our Steam, Dynamic2839. And as always, boss up.